This literally could be the end of my fitness career. I mean, what am I supposed to do for work? How am I supposed to make money? If I can't personal train, if I can't teach fitness classes, I mean, I can hardly walk, never mind exercise. Doctor said I can't even put pressure on my ankle for at least 8 weeks. What am I supposed to do for 8 weeks? It just couldn't get any worse. Gotta make sure I press the record button this time. Just spent about 10 minutes making a video and then realized I didn't press record. Anyway, welcome back to another video. As you can see, I'm a lot better, I'm a lot happier than the intro. That intro was made about 6 months ago when I had a serious injury, which I really did think was going to be the end of my fitness career. Now, before we get into this video, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully you might learn something from this video as well. Okay, if you've been training for a while and you have a training injury or any problems from exercising, then this video may help you. It might not, but where do I start? First of all, I need to sort of talk about my fitness career and how the injury which I sustained to my ankle was going to be the end of my fitness career. So I've been a personal trainer for over 20 years. Not just personal training, but also teaching group fitness classes, things like body pumps, spinning classes, kettlebell circuits, do all these sort of things, as well as personal training. But also for the last 6 years, I have also been a competitive athlete. So that means doing things like men's physique shows, bodybuilding shows, and most recently male model swimmer shows. I really enjoy those. The other thing to bear in mind is I am 42, so I'm not young, in my 20s and 30s, so getting on a little bit. So to have an injury at my age, and bear in mind I've never had an injury in my life. I've never had a broken bone, a strain, a sprain, absolutely nothing. So I've been quite fortunate to never have any injuries at all until now. So how I actually got the injury is a little bit embarrassing, really. It's not even an exciting injury. It wasn't like I was doing a personal best on a squat and my ankle went, or I was, jumping off a high wall. Not that I would recommend jumping off a high wall, that's just a bit silly. But anyway, it wasn't even like it was a dramatic injury. I literally fell down some stairs. At the time I was prepping for a competition. I'd actually qualified for the British finals, and I was training hard for the competition. I was in that gym every day, smashing big leg workouts, squats, deadlifts, lunges, everything. The training was going really well. And then I fell down some stairs, and I wasn't even drunk. I actually just fell down some stairs. If I'd have been drunk on a night out and fell down, yeah, quite dramatic. If I had been in the gym and I was in the middle of doing a big squat, fair enough. But no, I literally just slipped and fell down some stairs. And when I fell down the stairs, the pain was unreal. And I literally crawled on my hands. I was literally grabbing the floor and crawling till I got my car. Climbed in the car, and I managed to drive home even though my ankle was really hurting. Probably the adrenaline was going. By the time I got home, I was freezing. I had these cold sweats. Again, I managed to crawl out the car into the house and landed on this sofa. And I had the cold sweats. I had my dressing gown on, I had a blanket around. And I did think at the time, I feel like my body's going into shock here. But when I looked at my ankle, it was starting to really swell up. Obviously I knew this isn't right, something's not good, but I'm a very stubborn person. I never really go to doctors, hospitals, unless I really have to. I wish I had went a bit earlier, because as you can see by the picture, the swelling started getting quite bad. And as you can see by the next picture, a few hours later, this swelling was getting even worse. I remember taking loads of paracetamol for the pain. Yeah, it was quite bad. So later on that night, it was sort of like in the middle of the night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I was looking at my ankle and I thought, well, that really doesn't look good. I mean, I didn't think I'd broke it. Well, when I fell down the stairs, I thought I'd broke it, but because I was still walking it just, I didn't think it was broken. I did think there was something seriously wrong with it. But it was this swelling, how the swelling got bigger and bigger, and this crazy bruise started to appear as well, as you can see. The next day, I actually had to go to work the next day, and obviously I work as a personal trainer in a gym. So the next day I just went straight to hospital. After waiting in hospital for some time to be seen by a doctor and then eventually x-rayed, they pretty much confirmed what the problem was, and they showed us the x-ray, which it doesn't take an expert to read what this x-ray showed. They literally showed that I tore the entire ligament from the bone, which is why it was extremely painful and why the swelling and bruising was so bad. The crazy thing is though, the doctor actually said it would have been so much easier to break a bone. A broken bone will heal faster, and a broken bone will, a torn ligament, apparently the doctor was saying, is a lot worse because there's such low supply of blood to the ligament. The recovery process takes so much longer. So the doctor said, yeah, actually a broken bone would have probably been a bit better, so that's going to heal quicker. However, you're looking at 8 weeks minimum, absolute minimum, before you can even put pressure on it and walk around. Now, they were deciding whether to put it in a cast, just so I don't have any movement and cause it to be any worse. But the decision was just to give us crutches and kind of send us on my way. Not much more they could do. I didn't want to take the crutches, so again, me being stubborn, I decided just to limp around. And I actually went to work that straight from the hospital. I actually went to work. Luckily that day I was actually working on the main desk, so I didn't really have to walk around. And I remember just sitting at work looking at this like elephant-sized foot, thinking this is not good. I mean, I earn a living from working at a gym. I earn a living from personal training. I earn a living from teaching spin classes, fitness classes. What am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do? On top of all that as well, it wasn't just a matter of work, and yeah, obviously working is a very important thing because you need to earn money to live. It's the fact that I was prepping for a competition, and it wasn't just a normal competition. I'd actually already competed and placed top 5. I came 4th, which gave us a qualifying place in the British finals, which is something every athlete who competes works up towards, that one big show at the end of the year. And that wasn't going to happen. Definitely not. I couldn't even walk hardly, never mind train for competition. So I mean, the thing is, what was I supposed to do? Sit round, not exercise? You know, I really had to sit and think about what my next step was, especially for work-wise. Yeah, I can do light duties, but I really had to think about fitness is everything for me. It's all I've done all my life, and when somebody takes something away from you, it's a horrible feeling when you exercise every day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, and then all of a sudden you've been told by a doctor, no, you can't exercise, you can't do anything, you're gonna make it worse. What do you do when that thing that you love so much is taken away from you? It's a horrible feeling. Yeah, it's a really horrible feeling. But at the same time, I wasn't going to give in. I wasn't just going to give up training. You know, obviously I'll do light work on the legs. I'll still exercise the whole body. But the swelling on my ankle got worse and worse and worse, as you can see. It just looked weird, really weird. And it's not just the physical pain as well, it's the mental pain. As I said, if you've lived a life of exercise and then you've had that taken away from you, mentally it's quite tough, very tough. Especially because I'd worked so hard to get a place in this British final competition, and then to have that taken away, you just sort of sit there and think, all that training, all that dieting for nothing. Yeah, and as you can see by the videos and the pictures, I trained hard, I got myself as lean as possible. I was ready for this show, and then that was it, gone. And the other thing I thought about is, with this injury, I mean, to tear the ligament off the actual bone, how long is it really going to take to heal? Because yeah, it's going to heal to the point where I can walk, but what's it going to be like for future training? Am I going to be in the middle of a leg extension? It's just going to go snap. Am I going to be in the middle of a squat and crunch? It's a scary thought. So the next phase was going to be to have some physiotherapy. So I booked myself in for the NHS physio, because I actually heard it was meant to be really good. To be honest, I was a bit like, physio, do I need it? But I booked it anyway. It did take about 5 weeks to get an appointment. So during that 5 weeks, I did actually train upper body as normal, and I did train legs after 2 weeks. When I say train, I mean very, very light. I think the first exercise I done was I got onto a leg extension with just a couple of plates. I've done some really light leg extensions. My pain in my ankle was pretty bad. But I remember talking to one doctor, and he said, train to the point where it's painful, but control pain. If it's pain where your body's saying, don't do it, it's going to break, yeah, listen. When it's pain as in the old saying, no pain, no gain, yeah, fair enough. So that's exactly what I did. I did a little bit of light leg extensions. I did a little bit of light leg curls. And then eventually, after 3-4 weeks, I started doing some squats. When I'm saying squats, we're talking very, very minimal weight squats, just empty bar. They weren't too bad. The one exercise which was extremely painful was a lunge. Unbelievably painful. The lunge movement was so bad. Honest, in a lot of the fitness classes I teach, the lunges is one of the most popular exercises, especially during a body pump class. Lunges is a big part of the training session. So that, luckily my boss is who owns the gym where I work, is fantastic, and he gives us light duties, reception work. He had all my classes covered, so a huge thank you to my boss for that. I really appreciate that. So he had all my classes covered, spinning, body pump, everything like that. After about 5 weeks though, I did start teaching these classes again. I think my first one was a spin class. Now the spin class, which is done on an exercise bike, your foot is actually held in a cage and it's quite firmly locked in place. So that wasn't actually too bad. So spinning, I managed to get up and running again fairly quick. However, was things like the body pump classes and circuit classes, which did take a little bit of time before I could start teaching again. I eventually got my appointment for the physio. Quite interesting, because when I went to see the physiotherapist, the guy was actually an ex-bodybuilder. And we talked about all the old school bodybuilders, people like Dorian Ray, Sean Ray, Paul Dillett, and it was quite fascinating. And he says he sees these type of injuries all the time, from falling downstairs drunk in the gym. And when he gave us all the various exercises, he basically said, there's not much more I can do for you, because you've obviously been self-rehabilitating by exercising. And he says you've actually strengthened it up quite a lot. You went, your recovery is way more advanced, or way more ahead of what it should be compared to most people. It's because you've obviously been putting load-bearing exercises on the joint, and it has actually stimulated it to heal quicker. Obviously, I had a very healthy diet as well, and all these factors will help towards the healing process. Obviously, it wasn't anywhere near 100% healed, but he said it was getting a lot better. And he was really pleased with that. And he pretty much said there was not much more you could do for us other than to follow the stretches and the exercises which he'd recommended. But again though, if you ever do have an injury, it is definitely recommended to get the advice from your doctors and physios. And although I kind of self-rehabilitated and went against what the doctors said, and I started exercising far too early, it's actually paid off, and I'm back up to full swing now. My ankle is fine. it's working good. In fact, it's working perfectly. You probably see my training videos. And yeah, sorry about these embarrassing big red trainers. I love them. But anyway, that's another story. So yeah, although the doctors and physios said keep off your feet for 8 weeks, I just couldn't sit. I could not sit around. I couldn't think of anything worse. And even exercise, even if I do very light squats, very light lunges, very light leg extensions, then fine, so be it. That was 6 months ago. My ankle has healed nicely. It's strong. And yeah, before this coronavirus epidemic, I was actually prepping for another show, which would be next week, the Body Power. I was supposed to be competing in the Body Power, and I feel 100% recovered. But obviously now there's no competitions, and obviously there's no gyms, hence why we're doing loads of home workout videos. And so yeah, it's probably gonna be next year before I start competing again. But anyway, going off the track a little bit there, talking about the injury. Yeah, if you do ever sustain an injury and you're on the fitness like me, it does affect you physically and mentally. Don't just sit there and give up, okay? I could have easily said, right, okay, doctor said I can't exercise for 8 weeks, I'm just gonna sit around doing nothing, put weight on, lose all my fitness. No, I thought, no, I'm gonna overcome this. I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna give in. I'm not gonna quit. That's like I do everything, you know. Best way to look at life is just never quit. Keep at it, and I did, and it's paid off. My ankle's better. Took a good 6 months. It's recovered. Probably feels stronger than ever now. But yeah, at the time I really did think, this is it. This is my fitness career over. And the worrying thing is, at 42-year-old, all I've ever done, for 20 years I've worked in gyms, personal training. If I wasn't able to exercise, I have absolutely no idea what I would do in life. There's no job out there that I want to do other than fitness, teaching classes, training people, clients, competing. That's all I live for. And without that, I literally have nothing. So it doesn't matter what happens in life, whether it's an injured ankle, a broken bone, don't sit around and feel sorry for yourself. Do something about it, okay? Get off your backside and make it better. Make it heal, okay? Make it heal. Again, not just physically, mentally. Your bones will fix, your tendons will fix, your ligaments will fix. But you've got to stay strong mentally, otherwise you'll be defeated. Pretty much wraps up my little story about my little ankle injury. I'm sorry it couldn't have been more dramatic. You know, maybe as I was climbing up a mountain and I fell and I twisted my ankle, or I was, as I said, doing a powerlifting show and it snapped. No, I fell down some stairs. Wasn't even drunk. So anyway, I hope this video is helped. In case you ever have an injury, or you've had an injury. If you've had an injury, share with us how you overcome it. If you like the video, again, we're going to ask you hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Now we're going to move into some nice things now. Okay, we've had the sad me at the start there when I thought my fitness career was over. I've told you about how the injury happened, how I overcome it. Now I've had a few people have messages from my last video I made, and they said your dog in the video is so cute, and there he is. Now if you've seen the film Marley and Me, you'll know exactly what sort of dog he is. And his name is Marley. Marley. These are fitness videos, yes, but we're also animal lovers. Marley. Yeah. You see, that was because that last video I made, the home workout, and Marley was in it, tired him out. Anyway guys, I've had enough of waffling on and probably boring you to tears. So from me, Harry Ely, from him, Ollie, we'll see you in the next video. Take care, stay healthy, stay fit, and keep to your home workouts. Until then,